say welcome back to start the show like I did last week. Going to make sure I avoid that. Thanks for watching, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Leading the Charge. Matt Bove, Dom Tibbetts here. We are getting ready for what is going to be a very long stretch without football. Between now and when the Bills are set to begin training camp, 45 days. That's a long time. 45 days is a long time to talk about what could happen, not what's actually happening.
I'm trying to think to myself, too. It's like, how much PTO could you fill in 45 days? I don't even think you put your and my PTO combined. I think we maybe get there by the end of it, but that is a long stretch, the longest stretch that I've had since covering this team back in 2022. So, yeah, we're going to get creative. We're going to find ways to talk about the Bills and set things up. But like you said, Matt, there is so much that could happen because you could add to the Raw. I think they have 90 on there right now with 91.
They have one open roster.
One open roster right now in the Travis Clayton. So there's a lot of talk. Who could they bring in just to give an opportunity when camp rolls around?
The limit on the PTO does not exist, and we are definitely going to test those limits. But over the weekend, I was at a stag party. Shout out to Derek, and somebody who I know, a friend's father, asked me, Matt, are the Bills better this year than they were last year? And it got me thinking, because I don't know the answer to that question. So we're going to try and answer that question this evening. Are the Bills better now than they were last year? The pressing things that everybody wants to know while at a stag party.
Yeah, I think you look on paper, they are. They are, because we know, listen, I'm going to start with the offense, right? Josh Allen's Josh Allen. You know what he is. But we also know what James Cook is now. He's the NFL's leading defending rusher. Last year, we were having the James Cook conversation of, the contract. Is he going to hold out? Do the Bills sign him? What's that all looking like there, too? But the wide receiver room was such a debacle room. It was such a debacle in that room last year. But now you have a guy like DJ Moore. He is a bona fide number one in that room. He might not be a bona fide number one across the NFL and other teams that have more solidified guys. And I know there's a lot of Bills fans who probably don't feel like DJ Moore is this premier top guy, but he is. And he looks all the part so far during mandatory minicamp and OTAs. So I look there's a lot more answers there too. Their offensive line, Matt, is essentially the exact same. And then on defense, I think they've gotten a little bit more depth at some of the positions there too. I think they could work on a couple of them, like in the cornerback room. I would always argue you could use maybe some linebackers, some edge rushers there too. But there's some more names there too where I feel confident and in a better position right now than I would be, let's say, 365 days ago.
So here's the question that I have, and it's a bit of the unknown. I think Sean McDermott continuously raised the floor of this team. Now, because Sean McDermott is gone, I feel like there are going to be some growing pains. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing in the long term. But I think the rosters are close. I think this roster is a little better. I'm actually going to focus on the defensive side of the ball because last year you got almost nothing out of Ed Oliver because of injury. You got nothing out of Landon Jackson, a third-round pick, because of injury. You got nothing out of Dwayne Carter, a third-round pick, because of injury. You got very little out of TJ Sanders, a second-round pick, because he just wasn't very good. Those are four players who you should be getting more out of moving forward. Terrell Bernard, by the way, he also falls in that bucket, played almost all of last year injured. He was not himself. If he's himself this year, it just feels like there's a lot of guys on defense who should be able to step up. But all of that being said, the schedule is really hard, and they have a new head coach. I think there's going to be growing pains. I think this is a situation where the roster's better, but that doesn't necessarily lead to a better record. I think they're going to struggle more this upcoming season, but if they get into the playoffs, have just as strong of a chance as going on a run.
So the Bills were 12-5 last year, and I feel like we've had this conversation the last two seasons. I go back to 2 years ago when they started off, I think 5-1, but we had those 3-game stretches, and I'll never forget it's when they pounced Jacksonville when you really thought oh yeah, this team is good. Now that was 2 years ago, mind you. But last year, I think we had the same conversation about, that's a tough schedule. What is this team going to look like? They went 12-5 last year in a down year again. And I don't think anybody is saying that the Buffalo Bills are on a down year this year. I think they are looking as a team that is maybe favored or very close to being favored to win the division. I'll be curious to see how the lines shake out as we get closer towards the actual start of the regular season. But this is also a team, again, where that guy on your screen right there, 17, he is going to be such a driving force in this offense like he always is. So it's my rule of thumb that that guy on the screen, yeah, he's a little bit new to this, but you have Josh Allen. The window is always open. I still feel like this is a team that's going to perform well. They're going to maybe go 12-5 this year, but I would expect a little bit better. I would expect maybe, was it 2 years ago they went 13-4, and that was really because that Patriots game at the end of the year was just nothing, and they threw Trubisky out there. Maybe that's the same case as well too, but who knows how it shakes out this year. I just don't want to start saying that the Bills are having a tough schedule and they aren't going to perform, because they've kind of exceeded expectations, at least in the 3 out of the 4 years I've covered them, with last year probably being the year where they did it because they lost the division.
Shout out to the conversation at the stag party that sparked this question that led
it's a great conversation.
Led to the first segment of this show. You know, the conversations that you have at Sandy's Pub on Grand Island certainly go a long way.
I bet you it was just a little bit more foul language used.
Yeah, just a little bit, a little alcohol as well. In the last video we showed, it was Joe Brady, and then the guys next to him were Lindy Ruff and Jarmo Kekalainen. So yes, we just talked about the Bills, but how about the Sabres? The NHL season officially ended last night. I'm not going to show you video of the Carolina Hurricanes lifting the Stanley Cup. Nobody in Buffalo wants to see that at all.
Good call for the ratings.
But now it's about trying to figure out how the Sabres can be that team that's lifting the Stanley Cup at this time next year. Let's show you the notable dates on your screen of when things are really going to start to pick up. June 26th, the NHL draft begins. Usually there's a bit of movement the few days leading up to that. I don't even know if the Sabres are going to make a pick in the first round this year. They already don't have a second or third round pick. It feels like the purpose of this offseason is to try and add pieces to win now. That said, that's a date to circle. June 30th, offer sheet window begins. It almost never happens in the NHL, but hey, Jarmo Kekalainen, be spicy. Maybe change something up. If you want to offer sheet a player, I'd fully support it. July 1st, a couple days later, that's when free agency begins. Free agency is what brings us to the biggest decision for the Sabres this offseason. It is, what do they do with Alex Tuch? Dom, what do you think they do with Alex Tuch?
I think we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago, and my opinion hasn't changed. Alex Tuch is a Syracuse native. Hey, go Orange all the way, right? But my guy, it is just time to move on. Unless they can get him to about $9 million, which is kind of that rumored number as to what the Sabres look to be offering him. If they can get him there, great. But he's a guy who's testing the market, who is probably in a double-digit AAV, coming up on an expected salary. I don't think the Sabres can afford that. I don't think they need to afford that, rather, because there are other pieces that can help bolster this roster and kind of supplement that younger talent that you're seeing with guys like Konsta Helenius and Noah Ostlund and Zach Benson. So for me, I'm still sticking with Alex Tuch. It's time to move on.
So here's the thing that's interesting. I agree with you, but if you watched any of the Stanley Cup, the Carolina Hurricanes, who ultimately won, had several contributors that were in their mid to late 30s. The guy who won the Conn Smythe, Jordan Staal, 37 years old. I am not suggesting that Alex Tuch will be doing the same thing. Also, Alex Tuch would be making way more money than most of those guys, but it is an interesting conversation because I feel like sometimes we're talking about Alex Tuch of like they signed him this year and the contract's a disaster next year. I don't think the contract's an issue for 5 or 6 years. And if that's the case, who cares, right? The whole point is that you have won before you get to that point. I don't think they keep him, but I don't think that it should be as black and white as some people have made it.
My argument to your point about last night in the Carolina Hurricanes with the age example, which is a fair point, but I also want, that's a bigger conversation that we don't really need to get into, but I go back to goaltending, and you look at the numbers that I saw on Puckpedia in terms of what the goaltenders were providing each and every team in the playoffs this season. The Sabres with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alec Lyon were among the 2 or 3rd worst in that rank. So, yeah, not great. I think that's where that conversation goes, but it's a fair point.
All right. Alex Tuch's been talked about. The Buffalo Bills have been talked about. How about the NBA Finals? There's a Buffalo connection to talk about, so that's coming up on the other side of the break. Welcome back. If you watched the NBA Finals and the New York Knicks won, well, there is a Buffalo connection because, of course, there is. The head coach of the UB men's basketball team used to coach at Villanova, where he coached Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges. Here's my conversation with George Halkovich III. What was it like as just a fan of basketball watching guys you coached on that stage and then eventually winning a title?
Surreal. If I could put it into words, it's surreal. To know those guys as young guys, I obviously coaching college my whole career and even being here at Buffalo, you got young guys coming to the gym for the first time, freshmen this summer here at Buffalo, And I'm looking back and remembering the times all those guys walked in the doors of Villanova as young men that grew into the men they are today. And to see them, win the NBA championship with the New York Knicks, man, it's incredible and just gives you an immense amount of pride to be a part of their journey.
You won championships with them at Villanova, right? So obviously you have seen them have a ton of success. Did you know right away? When did you know that these guys were different?
Great question. They all had that winning mentality. You knew they came from great people. I mean, I think the biggest thing, they come from great families and support systems. And, ironically, I think we knew we were getting great kids that are going to work hard and put in the work that they needed to do every day for us to be successful. And, they always wanted to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So once we knew they were going to buy in and put the work in, their talent did take over. But, like all of them, it took time. They all developed. In college, I think the one who came in and really made huge impact right away was Jalen, being a starter on that national championship team in 2016. But he also played with great players, and Josh and Ryan Archidiakono on that team, other guys, obviously Mikhail coming in as well. So those two in particular were with older, experienced guys that kind of taught them the way. And then, they took on that ownership. And then we did it again at 18 with Mikhail and Jalen. And now they're winning championships with the Knicks, and I hope they win a couple with those guys as well. So you just never know, but you do know that if these guys keep answering the bell every day, great things can happen.
I remember when you got hired at UB, and obviously whenever the team hires a new coach, they put out the comments and statements from people who know the coach, and one of them was Jay Wright. I was like, oh yeah, Jay Wright. And one of them was Jalen Brunson. And I was thinking of that actually earlier today when we were setting this up. Jalen Brunson a couple of years ago was ascending into a star player, but now he has kind of reached that next tier. How cool is that to watch from your perspective?
It's one of the most gratifying feelings you could have as a coach, to know a guy like him being the best person he could possibly be every day. I mean, that's really the crazy thing, is he's as good of a person as a player. And I think that's why, obviously being an undersized guy, he understands and he's intelligent enough to know he's got to get every single ounce out of himself, right? And he does. He just outworks everybody. But to see him be able to know the work he put in, the extra work he put in on his own time, obviously with his dad, Rick, the work they put in his whole life, he'd be coming into Villanova and doing workouts. And then his dad, when he was around, would come work him out late at night. I mean, in the gym, and get extra workouts. And he was just a relentless worker. He embodies what it is to be a relentless worker. And, I think it's a really cool story for guys, for kids growing up, especially. I have a 3-year-old son who loves hoops now, almost 3. He's almost 3, but loves hoops. And he's got a little Jalen Brunson jersey. He talks like he's Jalen. And, given that I'm a little bit under 6 foot, I don't know if he's going to grow to be a 6'5" guy. So I now know I can say, hey, man, Jalen did it, right? And it's just really cool. And, again, like I said, it's just an honor to be a part of those guys' journey and to see them do it at the highest level in the biggest stage.
I'm sure that this is going to be a lesson somewhere that could make you guys better and kind of realize hey, this is possible.
Yeah, I think just the way they speak, Matt, and the way they present themselves and what they're about aligns with what we're about at Buffalo. We still talk about having great attitudes and being a part of something bigger than yourself. And I mean, that team embodied that. And it's not just fake. They say it in press conferences and interviews. So we just finished up a team workout. We're starting our second week here in summer workouts. And I started our workout the great thing was CJ Massenberg, a great Buffalo player, obviously, as we know from the great teams that Coach Oates had with all those NCAA tournament appearances. He's back in the gym working out with us. He comes back. He lives in Buffalo and trains with us. He's in the gym for the first day. He just got back last week from Italy. And I was able to say, guys, I want to show you this video clip of Jalen Brunson. And we also got, in my opinion, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, Buffalo basketball player that really was the best leader. I think, maybe the best leader, maybe him or Turner Battle, and we have Turner's GM as well, the best leader here back, and he spends his time with us all summer. puts in the work and shows you guys how to do it. And, I always said to CJ, I think you're like Jalen Brunson was at Villanova. And it was really cool to have CJ in there and then have Jalen Brunson talking about, what makes a winner. We played a clip. We showed him a clip of Jalen saying what makes a winner is a guy that knows they put all the work in the summertime. And, you're not afraid to fail because you have confidence that you did everything you could, and that even if you do fail, you're going to learn from those mistakes and failures and get better from them. So it was pretty cool to be able to show our team that, kind of set our tone, talking about our summertime. So using anything we can to motivate our guys and show, hey, these guys are just like you. They went through the same things you did, and look what they did when they maximized, their work ethic.
And then last one for me, Coach, but you guys made a really big step last year, right? Like, you have a winning record. There was a lot of growth for you guys. How do you continue to make those steps and build off of what you guys did last year?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, like in this new era, right, we had to play some catch up in the rev share NIL space. I think we have, and we're still getting there at the level we want to, but I think we're way closer than we were 4 years ago today, or 3 years ago, I guess, than now than we were then. So that's part of it, right? I think, you have to be old and experienced and have the right guys to compete night in, night out. So we were able to put together a really experienced team with some really good depth. I think we're really talented this year, so I'm really excited about that. And then you got to put the work in every day. So last year was a huge step. We had a great year, really proud of all those guys, that whole team, and doing what they did, and, sticking together till the very end. Some guys aren't here because they got opportunities that obviously, in the world of the portal, they got great opportunities financially for themselves. And, that you got to be okay with that in this day and age. However, I think we brought guys in that are going to come in here that are really talented, that are going to maximize themselves here, and hopefully, give us a chance to compete and win a MAC championship. And that's our goal. So, but the school, the supporters we have, can't thank all those people that have, put their financial equity into us and want to see us succeed. As we build it, with being able to compete at the level we need to on that end, I think we're going to keep getting better year by year. And I think this is going to be a great year for us.
All right, welcome back. This past weekend wrapped up high school state championships all across for our teams here in Western New York. And before that happened, I got to catch up with a pretty special track and field athlete from Holland. I'll introduce you to Lucas Litzen and his incredible story that now has him soaring to new heights. Pole vaulters are a special breed of athletes. With every stride, grip, and launch, there's an inherent risk of danger. But for Holland's senior Lucas Litzen, that's what drew him into the sport.
Kind of like flinging/flying, almost.
It was during an indoor track season that Lucas took up an interest in pole vaulting. From there, he joined the Mac Track Pole Vault Club, and the rest was history.
He doesn't have a good poker face, but in a great way, because when he does something awesome, he's got a big grin on his face, and it's really, really neat. You don't have to ask whether he had fun doing something. He'll let you know just by the look on his face.
Most people would have to overcome some sort of fear to embrace the high-flying adrenaline the sport brings. But for Lucas, he's had to overcome far worse.
Yeah, I was stage 3 neuroblastoma. There was a tumor pressing on my bladder that made me pee a lot, and that's how we eventually discovered the cancer.
Lucas got thrown into the battle of his life when he was just 7 years old. But thanks to a team of doctors at Roswell Park, Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, he's now enjoying life to the fullest. A soon-to-be Cornell student majoring in plant sciences with a love for living life above the bar.
And if you have that confidence of doing something, beating cancer like Lucas, I think then it definitely plays really well into this event, because like I say, more times than not, the mental gets in the way of the physical.
And as he gears up for the next chapter in life, he and his family reflect on the unique lens they see it through now.
I just want to give hope to the people going through pediatric cancer with their children to always keep a positive outlook and look forward to the future.
Look for the small good things is all I can say. I don't remember much about how I coped with cancer, but that's the advice I would give.
Pretty good advice, Lucas. Pretty good advice. All right, my thanks to Lucas for sharing that story with me. All right, we are shifting to the final segment of our show, final thoughts. So for the hardest transition I have to do, I have to go from that story to my final thought, which I want to tell all of you in Western New York, and I love you all. I love Buffalo, but I grew up in Syracuse, and we call it soda. This past weekend, I heard at a party someone call soda pop, and it has driven me crazy for the last 4 years that I have lived here that pop is what you guys call it. I'm sorry I did not swing through a saloon door and battle typhoid fever to have a Sprite and to have someone call it pop. No, it's soda. I'm sorry, Buffalo. I love you, but that is my only gripe with the culture here.
I disagree, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I need a one shot. IKEA is coming to the Walden Galleria. That's very exciting. You know, it would be more exciting if Kahunaville came back. As a matter of fact, we just need more jungle-themed restaurants in general. There's only one Rainforest Cafe in the area. Bring more of those. Bring Kahunaville back. Bring Tan Pablo's back. I just want all of the chain restaurants possible because...
Thanks for bringing unity back.
Top tip, it's Matt Bove. See you next week.